Good morning, everybody. Today we shall discuss critical appreciation of Arnold's Dover Beach in Poetry Second. Okay, first we shall discuss about introduction of the poem. Dover Beach was written in 1851, just after Matthew Arnold's marriage to Frances Lucy Whitman. It was first published in New Poems in 1867. Dover Beach is considered as a witness to the clash between science and religion. Arnold describes how advancements in science and industry had impacted on religion and the way of people thinking about the world. People had started questioning and challenging religious doctrines. The tempest in the world of religion created havoc. Truth was dimmed by the clouds of materialism, science, and technology. Dover Beach is a mirror to these social, religious, scientific, and materialistic changes. Okay, the loss of faith that distressed him in his younger days haunted him throughout his life. He felt that Victorian society had rejected true values from the past, such as critical objectivity, but he hoped that future might be rescued from ruin by reorganization of education and culture along critical lines so that the country might move from this strange state of fragmentation and uncertainty into a new age of social and cultural coherence. Okay, Arnold and his wife Frances Lucy Whitman visited Dover Beach after marriage. Yet he doesn't feel happy, nor does he romanticize the poem. A severe critic of the Victorian age could not romanticize his marriage. He laments here the loss of faith in religion, which is the sole characteristics of Victorian era. The poem's note is melancholic. It is at once religious, philosophical, and emotional. Unlike the love poets of the Romantic period, or that even of his contemporaries like Tennyson and Browning, he remained unaffected even during his period of courtship followed by marriage. Okay, the mood of melancholy pervades all his poems, and Dover Beach is no exception. Okay, now we shall discuss the development of thought. The poem Dover Beach opens in a house from where the poet is watching the sea waves. Okay, he finds waves coming and withdrawing from the shore. There was a pretty spray of water drops all around. There is a glitter of moonbeams. The poet listens the rubbing sound of the small stones in the waves. This is eternal note of sadness. Sweet air, moon blanched land, French coast, and cliffs of England create a pretty phenomena. The same voice of small stones was heard by Sophocles long ago. Okay, the poet calls his wife to watch it all. Soon the poet feels deep-rooted melancholy in his heart. He feels that here is no love, calm, leisure, and faith in this world. This is a world of dreams. The armies clash by night. He gives the message to remain with love following the religious conception. Okay. Now we shall discuss the brief summary of poem Dover Beach. Arnold laments over the loss of a religious faith and traditional value in the poem Dover Beach. Arnold's master was Sophocles, and they had a matching of ideas. The poet is seated near the English Channel at Dover Beach, and he listened the song of human misery as once it was heard by Sophocles. For poet, such sad music is eternal misery of humanity. These misery may be fluctuated time to time. It may rise and fall, but it never come to an end. Arnold sees towards the northern sea and he finds that particular situation, uh, the music of these waves, song, sound is teamed with thought. He and his beloved wife watching the waves of English Channel on a moonlit night. Okay, the sea is in full tide, and that sight reminds them that once upon a time the sea of faith was full to the shore. Okay, that is to say, people had religious fervor and nothing was there to deviate their minds. But the inventions of science and technology impacted at large scale, and men turned to be materialistic. There was no place for spirituality, religion, and traditional values. It was an age of chaos, conflict, and social unrest. Some turned agonistics, that is, uh, They did not care the existence of God. Okay, he says that in the ebb tide, the waves back and the nude pebbles lie on the coast. So, also with the withdrawal of the sea of faith, the ugly pebbles of skepticism and materialism are spreading out on the shore. Okay, poet thinks that love alone can bring comfort and relief to contemporary society. Love is unchangeable and constant, and it works as a guide to show the right path and inspire the society. Ah, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams. Arnold addresses his wife and all lovers on the earth that they should try to remain truthful and full of religious conception. Okay, we should not feel proud on the world and its achievements, because this colorful world which seems pretty and new is a world of dreams. It is an empty dreams and a grand illusion. Beauty is a mere deception, all an illusion and not a reality. Okay, it is only love that is true, eternal and permanent. It will give solace and comfort to those men who are spiritually distressed. Through these lines, poet points out the actual condition of the entire society. The society is crumbling down. Human beings are losing their faith from religion. They are going far away from tradition and they don't have moral values. There is a chaos all around. There is a chaotic situation. This world is a deception of the eyes. Here is no joy, nor love, nor light of knowledge, no certainty of conception, no peace, nor any kind of help for the crying men. Now, we shall discuss a melancholic note in the poem Dower Beach. Okay, in such a melancholic mood, the poet wishes of his beloved to be mutually true, as true love is the only source of comfort in this world. Arnold is basically too philosophical and intellect to be lyrical. Dover Beach is a short lyric having a subjective note. It embraces a great range and depth of significance. He discloses the melancholic thought of the inevitable decline of religious faith. He realizes that a love and a belief and good relationship may be realized even in the hostile world. Now, we shall discuss Arnold's observation of Victorian age. Okay, The poet observed the Victorian is full of doubts, disbelief, and people were losing faith from traditional values and religious doctrines. There was neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. Victorian era was progressing enough in wealth, people were running after money and pleasure. They had no mental peace. Arnold wanted to convey that there is no use of wealth and prosperity if it can't provide the moments of mental peace. Moreover, the nations were trying to get freedom, and all around there was a chaotic situation. Therefore, the poet doesn't enjoy the natural beauty. Arnold has achieved supreme success in the use of free verse. According to Duffin, it is only free in the sense that lines and stanzas are of uneven length. It is as firmly bound by rhyme and inner tension as the immortality ode of Wordsworth. Now we shall discuss about the imagery which are used in the poem Dover Beach. The imagery in Dover Beach deserves notice. The type of poetic image is metaphor. The purpose of an image is to speak directly to the imagination through one or more of the five senses. We have in Dover Beach a series of images which delight as much the eyes as the ear. The images related to the eyes are: the sea is calm, the moon shines fair, the light twinkles on the French coast, etc. The sound images include its melancholic, melancholy, uh, withdrawing roar, and where ignorant armies clash by night. Sainsbury finds in the poem that passionate interpretation of life, which is so different thing from the criticism of it. Okay. Now we shall discuss poet of nature. Arnold is also considered as a poet of nature, and in the poem Dover Beach, poet discussed it very well. Arnold is a poet of nature. In Dover Beach, nature is the background of Arnold's philosophical reflections. Unlike the nature of Byron and Shelley, Arnold's nature presents a picture of serenity. He loved nature, says Lewis Jones. The sea was for him the one element in which he discovered the deepest reflection of his own melancholy and sense of isolation. Now we shall discuss nature and its meaning. In Victorian era, the main cause of suffering was the tendency to ignore nature. Man alienated himself. Intellectual advances such as a theory of evolution, sociology, archaeology, and criticism of Bible had challenged the explanation of religion and the outlook. Gradually, people started accepting that it was the science that explains and describes nature in the best possible way. Such thinking was harmful to humankind. In Dover Beach, a speaker acknowledges that nature's beauty hardly hides its darkness. In the end, the speaker describes the world as a darkling plain. The disturbing noise on the shore indicates the fruitless struggles of the man against the power of nature. Okay, it is also a love poem. Dover Beach is also considered as a love poem. Arnold doesn't grow ecstatic in his songs of love, but here he does declare that amidst incertitude, blankness, and despair, love alone stands firm and is the only source of comfort. Dover Beach is a picture of married love, which is a characteristic of Victorian tradition. The poem opens with a scene of pure natural loveliness, the sea calm, the tide full, the moon lying fair upon the streets. Now we shall conclude. To conclude, we can say Dower Beach is one of the representative poems of the Victorian, and it presents a criticism of Victorian life, the beautiful picture of human condition, nature, sea, moonlight, loss of faith from religion, and moral values of that particular society, impact of science and technology, etc., are described beautifully in this poem. The poem is teamed with imagery. In the first stanza, the view of Dover Streets is remarkable. In the second stanza, Sophocles heard the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. In the third stanza, poet mentions the reason of sadness. He laments on the loss of religious faith, and people have become blind in scientific era. Final stanza provides solution of all problem, and that is true love. Okay, in this way, the critical appreciation of Dover Beach is finished. Okay, thank you.